Tobias Nigley here at AFA's Airspace and Cyber Conference. I'm with Josh Johnson, Senior Master Sergeant Josh Johnson. And Josh, I'm going to let you tell what you're doing here and why you're dressed as you are.
Thank you so much for having me. And the AFA brings people together from around the world, all for telling the Air Force story and sharing with the public the amazing things we do and working with the defense contractors. It's special to be here. Today, I wanted to share that we didn't just fly to AFA. We instead rode our bicycles to AFA for 340 miles over 4 days with 270 Americans.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit. This is the Memorial to Memorial ride. You started at Kitty Hawk, birthplace of aviation, and you finished at the Air Force Memorial just across the river from here on Sunday. Talk to us about the ride and who those 270 Americans were and what that experience was like. And then I do want you to get to why you're dressed in a Captain America suit.
Of course. So really to just explain this bicycle ride and what it means, we set goals in life and they may be challenging or they may be easy, but with cycling, we're finding people come from all over the world can participate in cycling events by working together in teamwork with time and energy and effort in endurance sports. Very healthy. We're in a time where we need more fitness in their military. And so this bicycle ride achieves three wonderful things. And we call it M2M. We are about celebrating Air Force heritage, promoting fitness and recruiting into our Air Force, and also supporting our wounded and airmen and guardians. Those priorities are essential to the M2M ride and what makes us so successful at attracting not only wonderful participants and cyclists, but support members who don't ride, but are willing to come out and give their time and energy to either provide support or gear or help the adaptive cyclists that we have on this ride, take a break when they're finished after their hand cycling, get them into a wheelchair, make sure that we have snacks for the riders. That experience over 4 days brings strangers together and leave as friends.
Now, this concept came out of an idea that I think was Dave Goldfein's idea. So talk about General Goldfein's kind of inspiration, why he wanted to do this. And he's actually written, I don't know if did he ride this year?
He rides every year.
He rides every year, okay. So tell us a little bit about what that background story is.
Absolutely. General Goldfein was just moved by the experience of the Marine Corps Marathon and thought, wow, the Air Force needs a version, a way that the public can see and interact with our American war heroes and our airmen and then get to know them. We spend so much time, fighting our nation's wars, but now the public, if we interact with them, alongside them with a sporting and athletic event that celebrates our Air Force heritage, just like the Marine Corps, what would the version be for the Air Force? And since we in the Air Force started with birthplace of aviation with two bicycle mechanics, Orville and Wilbur Wright, and we have the only roots of a service, that's the start of a garage startup, the best way to do that is connect it. So let's start with the Wright Brothers Memorial. And what if we rode all the way to the Air Force Memorial? And along the way, we would have stories to tell from all of the background with our military members and the other people who join us on this ride. And that's why we wanted to make sure it's open to the public. Well, that idea landed with Surf Belichick. He's a retired general as well, and they were in pilot training together. And I was a coach for the Air Force cycling team when I was able to meet Surf Belichick, and he shared the vision. I made sure he was nominated to the board of directors for the Air Force cycling team, nonprofit organization. And through that, the rest is history after we just kept planning for 12 months of the year to make sure we pulled off a safe and efficient ride for all of our cyclists, because there are a lot of jurisdictions, a lot of cities that we work through to make sure we protect our cyclists.
And some of these cyclists are have been physically compromised as a result of their service. So tell us a little bit about some of the people who rode and things that they had to overcome.
I'd like to start with telling you about the first wounded airman who joined M2M. Tim Williams is an amazing man and a great super athlete. He was the fastest cyclist, pushing the speeds when we were riding together, and he passed away in a paragliding accident. And he was part of the Air Force Wounded Warrior Program. He was also supported through the foundation, the Airmen's and Guardians program, and he helped tell his story in front of our whole Wounded Airmen's dinner and kicked us off in that new tradition that we start. So on the first night, you'll have a Wounded Airmen's dinner. He then told the story to more wounded athletes and airmen who came and told their friends. And now, at the 4th annual M2M, we have hand cyclists, we have amputees coming from different branches of service, all able to share their story and work through finding that purpose again. They missed the camaraderie of serving. This is part of their healing journey. And for us, it's rewarding to even hear their story on how we can support each other and make sure that we don't forget the things that they've sacrificed for our nation.
When you're tired and you're going uphill and you see them, I imagine you're not even going to want to admit that you're tired.
That's exactly what I felt when I looked over and cheered him on and tried to share some motivation and just praise their efforts. They're working so much harder. We don't have any excuses. And so one of the reasons why I think the endurance sports are so healthy for all of us to bring into our lifestyle is that not everyone can do them. So if we have the body and the physical abilities to do them, let's take advantage and make sure we're staying healthy.
You're wearing the cycling team uniform. You got USSF on one side. I'm assuming USAF on the other side. What's the story behind the uniform and maybe a little bit about the team?
Absolutely. We know that if we're going to have a mission together and we're going to build a team, we need the unity, just like in the military. So we have these kits beautifully designed that connect us with our Air Force heritage, right, with the Wright Brothers flyer and also an F-35 for the future. Mm-hmm. The Air Force Rondelle has been part of our Air Force story for so long. We brought it back and put it right on the beginning of our front of our jerseys. It is a symbol that represents more than just aviation and the Air Force. Now it's so closely associated with M2M. People are starting to recognize this symbol as M2M. And in the back of our jersey, we have our logo, which combines the Plymouth, the Wright Brothers Memorial, and then goes up into 3 wonderful spires for the Air Force Memorial. And we've snuck in a bicycle wheel right underneath that. So it's all connected. The Outer Banks to Washington, D.C. is our story with the connection of 340 miles. And we say that the stories that you get from that experience will be what you talk about at AFA.
Very good. So you got a red helmet. It's not blue.
Yeah, we need something to stand out, right? So when we're riding along in the road and we've got a bunch of vehicles and traffic, we want to make sure that our cyclists are safe. So we have blinking red lights on the back of the bicycles. A red helmet really helps to identify when you're looking at the photos, too, of all the other cyclists.
And the cycling team does a couple other things. Tell a little bit about, I think you said in Iowa, and you repair bikes?
Yeah, over 31 years ago, the Air Force cycling team was formed, and a bunch of riders got together and said, why don't we do this ride across Iowa? It's Register's annual Great Bicycle Ride across Iowa, known as RAGBRAI. And instead of just riding fast, they wanted to combine the core value of service before self and said, what if we started giving back to the public? So they started repairing bicycles along the way, and they got the name of Guardian Angels of the Road. And then we've brought doctors with, nurses with, and helped with a lot of medical conditions after accidents would occur. People would fall out from hydration and electrolyte shortages on the ride, and maybe they weren't prepared for that level of humidity. So that became the central focus of the team for many years. We also have regional teams all over the world. We have started chapters in Hawaii, in Kadena. We've got Germany started now. We've got regional teams around the United States where it allows people to connect on their Air Force base or with the community, wear the beautiful kit, tell the story about the Air Force, and inspire someone else to potentially either become into cycling or join the Air Force.
Okay, so if somebody wants to join the Air Force, they can get the AMI app, or they can go to find the Air Force or the Space Force on the web. If they want to join the cycling team, what do they do?
The best place is afcycling.com, and you can find all the ways to get involved. You can find the regional team that's closest to you and reach out to that team lead. We've got an interactive map, so you can click on the state where you're closest to. And then anything related to M2M, we've made that into a short m2mride.com link that's accessible. And all registration starts for M2M in January each year. And then we ride in September. We know when it's going to be because as soon as AFA picks their convention, we'll ride there.
All right. So is it and are the number of slots for to do M2M limited, or is the more the merrier?
So far, we've been able to grow at a continual pace that's manageable. We started with 60 the first year, went to 100, went over to 200 in the third year, and now 270 riders. We have people staying in hotels very comfortably along the way. If they're more into camping, we also have introduced camping this year, and that was a success. So we'll be continuing to grow both of those opportunities for the airmen. What's really important is that airmen don't self-eliminate, thinking that the costs are too high, because we have scholarships, thanks to our generous sponsors, for the E1 and through E6 members of our Air Force. And we'd love to have more of those cyclists join us.
All right. Senior Master Sergeant Josh Johnson, thanks so much. This was fascinating.
Thank you for your time.